So we need something speedy, we need something that's going to work first time, and we can just push on. So for that, we're going to go back to a little bit of old school, and we're going to go back to super glue and talcum powder. Literally just talc. Now you could use baking soda and all the rest of it. I know a lot of people do that, but this is just my preferred method. So this is good old-fashioned Johnson's baby powder. Now, just a quick disclaimer, they seem to have changed the formula now to something slightly different. So this is like pure chalk as it used to be, but nowadays, for whatever reason, best known to themselves, I'm sure, they seem to have changed the formula now to something a little bit more different that, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work as well. But if you have got the old stuff lying around, use that, all right? And you can go for it that way. So all we've got is a little bit of talc. We've done it on a little bit of polythene so it doesn't ruin my cutting mat. Then we've got some drops of super glue. So we just put in a few drops. If you've ever made cement and all the rest of it, you know what I mean by this. It is that thing of just pushing it in, mixing, and you don't need much water. So you don't need much glue in this case. It will thicken up and it will turn into a nice little gooey little mess, as you can see. And again, what you're looking for is something akin to a paste. So really, at the end of the day, people often say like, oh, how much do you put in? You just want it to be enough to be nice and sticky, but what you've got to make sure it's fully mixed, because if it's not fully mixed, what can happen is if you've got lumps of talc inside it, obviously that becomes a little bit of a weak spot. So I tend to do it this way, and just grabbing from the outside and you're bringing it in, you know, and in the same way though, you need enough talc in here to actually make it so it's a nice sticky mess and not a runny mess, because we want this to go in and do the job. And that's probably getting about where we want it. All right, so the whole point of using talcum powder is it makes it easy to sand, and also it becomes something solid like this. Now I know the camera's absolutely hating this, so I'll do my best. So you're literally just going to be smoothing this on, but you want to leave it a little bit proud. I said before, you know, when you're filling, the whole point of filling is to fill, you know, so make sure you've got enough filler on this. So if it sits proud, that's not a problem. That's pretty good. All right, you can see, I've put the glasses on, I might be able to see a little bit more as we're doing. All right, so you can go through, and you should have roughly with this around about sort of 5-10 minutes working time to get these in. Now this plastic is really slippy, so what you could do as well if you wanted to is just to put down a little bit of sand onto it, sanding first, just give it a little bit of texture so it can bite. All right, because this is super glue, you will be releasing fumes and all the usual bits and pieces, so usual precautions should be used. So make sure you're in a nice ventilated area, and make sure that, you know, you're not breathing it in and making your eyes sting and stuff like that. So again, literally, we're just putting this in. So why do I do this, and why don't I just get out normal, you know, putties and stuff? At the end of the day, it's a little bit of a personal choice, I know, but for me, the best thing about this is that it's a one and done. And when I mean that, I mean it literally goes on, it sits, it dries, I sand it, and then I'm done. I can move on to the next stage. All right, so if you're using, you know, perhaps a traditional filler and stuff like that, you might have to refill a few times to get it to look nice. That's a classic example of where it's a little bit of too much talc on that bit, so it literally just didn't go nice at all. All right, and that's it. Now I wouldn't use Kicker or anything else like that to speed up the drying time. It doesn't need it. It's going to be quite speedy and it will do on its own. But basically it is just that standard technique. So we've got a coarse sander, all right, and this is literally sort of real time almost this. So it's still a little bit soft in the middle, but we are using a coarse sander, so we take a good chunk of it, and you can see it's rock hard, this stuff. But it's not hard enough that it doesn't sand nice and smooth. And that's why we love this, because it's zero shrinkage and this is quick. So instead of us having to wait, I don't know, overnight, a good sort of 12 hours for the filler to dry, the great thing with super glue and talc, or you could use bicarb, does the same thing, you know, bicarbonate of soda. You can work on it pretty much straight away. So if you're like me, and you know, there's a little bit of a deadline going on here as well to get things done, then you can just go in and you can just smooth this out. Now these do have slight angles, so we'll do this angle first. So again, and it's all with the coarse, and again I can see no high spots and I can see no low spots. So the low spots will be shiny because it'll be the plastic, and high spots will be really a different color because they're sticking proud. These are high spots over here. All right, so again we can just sand in, and again getting rid of those. High spots are going now, so you haven't got these, and obviously you've got low spots, got a little bit of a low spot down in here, so we'll just come up in here. All right, and you also get the thing about people when they talk about, obviously, got high spot here, you can see it sitting here. So talk about obviously using coarse sanders, and they start using sandpaper grits that are in the hundreds and stuff like that. This isn't true. You know, this is one of those things, I don't know quite where it comes from, but like this here is a basically 100 grit, that's it. All right, probably won't go any less than that. You can see we're almost through now, but you can see there's no real scratching. It's not like ripping this apart, you know. So this one here is actually a 120. That's what it is. See, like, I haven't been making these for a few years now. I forget what it is. So it's a 120, and you can see that's pretty much there. Just got a little bit of a spot there. So we got down to here the fine sander. So this is literally just for finishing off now, and this will just get rid of any nasty scratches that may have been caused in the sanding. It's actually looking pretty nice, to be honest. A little bit along there. Then all we're going to do, switch out, good old fashioned sponge. And there we go. No more sink marks. You see a slight difference in colour, but the sink mark itself is absolutely gone, and that is now ready for primer. And go in, you see, catch it in the light.